Today's episode is going to be about Shawn Corey Carter, aka Jay-Z, aka Mr. Carter, aka my favorite rapper. Without no further delay, let's get right into it. S. Carter, very famous, popular entrepreneur, rapper, CEO of Rockefeller Records, sold many records, been out since I think 1996. Multi-platinum, owner of Tidal, Rockaware. So, born December 4th, 1969. The husband of Beyonce, rapper, songwriter, record producer, entrepreneur. He is the son of Agnes Reeves and Gloria Carter. I was raised by Gloria Carter and Agnes Reeves, who made love under the sycamore tree. That's one of his lines. So let's get into it. He has a very interesting ancestry and genealogy. Born in Brooklyn, Marcy Projects, but his grandparents were not from New York. They were part of the Great Migration that came from the American South and came up north. Many families, African American families, came to New York, Chicago, Los Angeles. They all came north, leaving behind the Jim Crow South. Let's get right into it. We're gonna start with his. We'll start with his mother's line, but this is the marriage license in 1970 of Agnes Reeves and Gloria Carter, his mother, in Brooklyn, New York City. So this is 1950 census of the United States, Kings County, New York, which is Brooklyn. And you got right here Gloria Carter, his mother, black female, and she's 1 year old in 1950, so she was born in 49. She's the daughter of Lassie Carter and Annie Cable. Annie Cable. And Lassie Carter is a driver, a transportation driver. Might be bus or even taxi. Then we'll go right here. World War II draft card of Mr. Lassie Morey Carter. 30 years old, and is born in the USA in Virginia, Greenwood, Virginia. See, he came from the South. And Ella Johnson is his sister. This is her married name. So she married a man by the name of Johnson, and he worked for Joseph Larry. And this is his actual signature. So this is from the Carter side. Jay-Z took his mother's last name. Guess he was not raised by his father, even though they were married. This is the 1920 U.S. Census, and you see young Lassie Carter right here. He's 9 years old in Virginia. His father was born in Virginia, mother born in Virginia. This is his mother, Maggie Carter. This is her marriage name. She's really Maggie Gordon, but as you can see right here, she's a widow. And she is a cook. We'll go up this line. This is 1910. Virginia. We got Maggie Carter right here. This is before Lassie was born. Well, the same year he was born. And this is her husband, James Carter. And you can see right here, he was mulatto, which means half black, half white. very typical for African Americans to have some European blood. And the mother was black, the children were mulatto. And he was a farm laborer. His wife, Maggie, this is her death record in 1925. Maggie Carter, the wife of James Carter. This JAS is short for James. Colored. The daughter of Reuben Gordon and Isabel Wells, both from Virginia. And this is the 1880 U.S. Census in Virginia. You got Reuben Gordon right here, considered black, 34 years old, farm laborer in Virginia. Belle, his wife, is a servant. And this is young Maggie or Margaret, 7 years old. So we got them all the way in this line. Reuben was born in 1841, which is 23 years before the abolition of slavery in the United States. So we don't know if they were born into slavery, but they were definitely born before slavery was abolished. And you got Isabel Wells. This is her 1922 death record. Isabel Gordon, the widow of Reuben Gordon. She died at about 74 years old. And you see right here, the name of father, name of mother, don't know. Don't know. And that's by, the informant was Geo Gordon, one of their sons. So he didn't know who his grandparents were. Oh, it looks like she oh wow. She fell downstairs and banged her head, and that's how she died, at home. All right, we'll go to Annie Cable. This is the maternal grandmother of Jay-Z. This is her death record in this is her birth record in 1912. Young Annie Cable, Amherst County. Her father is Scott Cable, colored, 55 years old. And Mary Esses, also called Essex. Oh, she was born in 1912, June 12, 1912. And this is the signature of Annie Cable. This, oh no, the X here means somebody else signed for her. This is 1920, Virginia. Got young Annie Cable right here. Her father, Scott Cable, as the head of the house. He's older than his wife by almost 20 years, 18 years. Mary Essex. All their parents were born in Virginia, as well as them. And he was a farmer. And finally, on the maternal side, this is Scott Cable and Mary Essex. This is their marriage record. So Scott Cable, he was, okay, that's why he was 20 years older than her, because he was already widowed. Black, 32 years old, born in 1859, 5 years before the end of slavery. They married in 1891 in Nelson County, Virginia, and he's the son of Wyatt Cable and Sally Cable. He's marrying Mary Essex right here, single, black, 19 years old, and she's the daughter of Tom or Thomas and Amanda Essex. So you figure they were born in the early 19th century, so the 1810, 1820s. Okay, let's go to his father's side. Adnis Reeves. Agnes was born in 1949 and died in 2003. It says beloved father. This is 1950 U.S. Census in Kings County, New York. And you can see right here, this is his paternal grandfather, Agnes Reeves, the elder. Black, 34 years old. And this is missing, but it should read Louisiana. He was born in Louisiana, and his wife, Ruler Lee Bobbitt, was born in North Carolina. And this right here, I believe, is Jay-Z's father that they spelled wrong. It meets the age criteria. But the only thing, they put Agnes and put him as a daughter and a female, which could be the person who was writing this misheard the word Agnes, and they wrote Agnes, which is a more common name than Agnes. But I could be wrong. This could be also a sister, but I'm pretty sure it's his father. Anyway, these are his parents. We'll do the Reeves line. We'll start in 1920. This is Agnes, the elder, Agnes Reeves. This is 1920 in Louisiana. So you see right here, Agnes right here, mulatto, so he is half white, half black, and so were his parents. And they were all from Louisiana, and the father, Bill, was a farmer. So Bill Reeves and Mary, also known as Mary Zadie Williams. 1930, U.S. Census in Louisiana. William Reeves here again, also known as Bill. His wife, Mary Williams, and young Agnes right here. And yep, still a farmer. Working on a farm in Louisiana. Next, 1940. Louisiana, the same family, William Reeves, Mary Williams, Agnes. Now they're considered a black Negro. And he's still a farmer, and Agnes is a woodcutter. And Agnes is 26 years old. His father is 60. His mother is 44. And right here, this is the World War II draft card of Agnes Reeves. Agnes D. Reeves. Louisiana. His mother, Mary Reeves. And this is his signature, because you don't see the X here or the cross. So this is actually him writing his name. So he was somewhat literate. And right here, he dies in 1988. And as always, I like to highlight veterans. So he absolutely served in World War II. So Jay-Z, his grandfather was a World War II veteran, his paternal grandfather. And this looks like he served in the Pacific Theater. And he died in 1988. Private in the World War II Army. Excellent. 1900. So you see they have a military background. Louisiana, 1900 census. You see William Reeves, the paternal great-grandfather of Jay-Z. And the mother is widowed, so the father is not listed here. But Rosalie, or you see Rosa Lee Reeves, or Rosalie. And she was born in 1834. And And okay, they're considered black. But you'll see she was born in Louisiana, but her parents were born in Kentucky. So she immigrated to Louisiana where she married her husband, Robert Reeves. And we'll show you that right here. So 1870, Robert Reeves and his family. So this is in Louisiana. And you see Robert Reeves, young William right here, Jay-Z's great-grandfather. So this is Jay-Z's second great-grandparents right here. So Robert Reeves, mulatto. Pay attention to this. He's mulatto. Right? And his wife, Rosaline, is black. She's a housekeeper. He's a farm laborer. So this is the 1870. So he's born in around 1830. And he's mulatto, living in Louisiana. And if you know your American history, in the 1860s, he would have been in his late 20s, early 30s during the Civil War, living in Louisiana. So, let's see. Maybe he served in the military. Yes, he did. Private Robert Reeves, the Company F and the Louisiana Cavalry in the Confederacy. Are you kidding me? So, Jay-Z's third great-grandfather was a corporal in the Confederate Army as a mulatto. Remember, he was mulatto. So maybe he was white passing, but he definitely was a Confederate, which is crazy. Who would have thought it? But there were some black or mulattoes who served, especially in Louisiana, because the race is so complex down there. But they did have black divisions who fought for the Confederacy. Some were forced, but some volunteered, and he volunteered. This is just to show you that this is where he was in the 1870 census, Robert Reeves, and this is where Company F signed up for duty for the Confederacy. So this absolutely is the only Robert Reeves in the state of Louisiana. So Jay-Z is definitely eligible to be a son of the Confederacy. I doubt he wants to be. And this is his wife, Rosalie, in the 1860 census. See, Rosalie Marcolino, or Marcineo. This is kind of, she's a seamstress. And mind you, this is 1860. She's 17 years old. And this census is for the free inhabitants of Louisiana. So she was no slave. The two people here are inferred parents, but I'm not sure. It says Colas Dupree and Margaret Dupree. I'm not sure that those are her parents, but she's living in their house. But she was 100% a free woman in 1860. Okay. And just to prove that Rose was Marcineo, this is her husband, Robert Reeves, or Bob Reeves. This is their daughter, Virginia Ree Collins. That's her married name. And this is her mother, Rosalie Marcineo. Okay. Now we'll go to the Bobbitt line. And as if that wasn't crazy enough, we'll get into this. Ruler, which is the coolest name ever. Ruler Lee Bobbitt, born in 1919, died in 2006. The daughter of Henry Bobbitt and Mamie Evans. Mamie also went by Lula. And you can see right here, Ruler Lee Reeves, but this is her marriage name. because she's the wife of Adnis Reeves. So this is Jay-Z's paternal grandmother and his paternal great-grandparents, Henry Bobbitt and Mamie Evans. This also says Edwards too. So that could be a mistake. 1930. And this is in North Carolina. 1930. Ruler Bobbitt. She is 13 years old, listed as Negro or Black. Daughter of Henry Bobbitt and Lula Mamie. The M is for Mamie. And their families are all from North Carolina. And he's a farmer. So his father and mother were born in North Carolina, and so was Lula Mamie Evans or Edwards. Okay, 1880. 1880, this is in North Carolina. You got Henry Bobbitt and Annie King. I'll show you this later. He's 26, she's 25. I mean, he was born about 1850. And this is young William Henry, Jay-Z's great-grandfather. So this is his great-grandparents, right? And as a matter of fact, I'm going to come right back to this record. And we'll move on to Annie King, Mamie Edwards, because I'll save the craziest for last. So this is the death record of Mamie Edwards, or Mamie Bobbitt, the wife of Henry Bobbitt, the daughter of Henry Edwards. You see before it said it said Evans, but it says Edwards here, and Lucy Thompson. And she had heart disease. And this is her, the 1870 census of her father, John Edwards, and Dee Lucy Thompson. He's a farmer and she's a housekeeper. And this is Lucy, or Mamie. Okay, back to the 1880 census. You might have didn't see this, but the father was in an interesting situation. So Henry Bobbitt, the second great-grandfather of Jay-Z, it says right here, he is a convict at the state penitentiary. What? So he, in 1880, Henry Bobbitt is in jail. For what, you might ask? Let's check the Torchlight. This is a newspaper in North Carolina in 1879, so a year before he's in jail. And let's see. Right there. You see it? Henry Bobbitt. Wait, this is the inferior court. This is from the Torchlight, Oxford in North Carolina, Tuesday, October 14th, 1879. Henry Bobbitt, charged with larceny, sentenced to 3 years in the penitentiary. So that's why in 1880 he's in jail, because he was charged with larceny and sentenced to the penitentiary for 3 years. So Henry Bobbitt, and this is 1873, he's marrying. So we're going back in time. Henry Bobbitt right here, William Henry Bobbitt, and he's marrying Annie King, both from North Carolina. And right here, okay, I'm gonna have to do some explaining right here. In the 1930s, the United States wanted to get interviews from former slaves, some of the slaves left accounts uh, of their life during the slavery times, and they told the story of their quote unquote masters and how they were treated, and the story of their lives. Jay-Z's second great grandfather actually was selected and participated in that, and this is him, Henry Bobbitt, right here. Henry Bobbitt of North Carolina. Now, the people who took the interview uh, took their word for as a word. So meaning word for word, they wrote down how they heard it. So a lot of these interviews are gonna have the slang of the times of the people that were from the South. Okay, so let's try to get through it as quickly as possible. And it does have some profanity, so I will not be saying the N word. I will say ninja. So forgive me. So this is Henry Bobbitt and ex-slave story. Henry Bobbitt. The editor is Daisy Bailey Wyatt, and the worker was Mary A. Hicks. Here we go. Ex-slave stories. An interview with Henry Bobbitt, 87, of Raleigh, Wake, North Carolina, May 13, 1937, by Mary A. Hicks. I was born in Warrenton in Warren County in 1850. My father was named Washington after General Washington, and my mama was named Deja after a woman in a story. Us and about 40 or 50 other slaves belonged to Mr. Richard Bobbitt, and we worked his 400 acres of land for him. I just had one brother named Clay after Henry Clay, which shows how Massa Dick voted, and Delilah, which shows how old lady Mrs. Reed, DiBioli. We farmed making tobacco, cotton, corn, wheat, and taters. Massa Dick had a whole passel of fine horses, and on our Sunday job was to take care of them and clean up around the house. Yes, ma'am, we worked 7 days a week from sun up to sundown, 6 days, and for 7 until 3 or 4 on Sunday. We didn't have many teardowns and prayer meetings or such because of the fuss disturbed old missus who was kind of sickly. When we did have something, we turned down a big wish pot in front of Dido, and it took us the fussing, and folks in the yard can't hear the fuss. The patter rollers would get if you went off in the premises without the passing on the day, that they would beat you scandalous. I see the fella that day beat Upton, and he had scars as big as my fingers all over his body. I got one whipping that I remembers, and that was just a meddling one. The master told me to pick the cotton, and I sat down in the middle and didn't work a speck. The overseer came and he frailed me with a cotton stick. He was a heap meaner than the ninjas that Master Dick was. I saw some ninjas what was beat bad, but I ain't never had no bad beating. We lived in a log houses with sand floors and sticking dirt chimneys, and we weren't allowed to have no garden, no chickens, no pigs. We ain't had no way of making money as we was only middling. We had to steal what rabbits we had from somebody else's boxes on some other plantation, cause the master won't let us have none of our own. And we ain't had no time to hunt nor fish. Now we talking about something that we get a whooping for, cause that was for having a pencil and a piece of paper or a slate. Even if you look like you wanted to learn, they'd write you got a licking. There was 2 colored women living next to us, and they was called free issues, but they was really witches. I ain't really seen them do nothing, but I heard a whole lot about them putting spells on folks, putting spells on folks, and I see tricks where they had rid Master Dick's horses and open moaning, the horses' manes and tails would be all twisted and knotted up. I know that they done that because I seen it with my own eyes. They doctored lots of people, and our folks ain't never had no doctor for nothing to happen. You was asking about the slave sales, and I wanted to tell you that I had seen some real sales, and I seen ninjas, whole bunches of them, going down to Richmond to be sold. They was mostly chained because they was new to the bosses, and he don't know what to expect. See them real sales in Warrington too, and the mammies would be sold from their children, and there would be a whole heap of crying and moaning about it. I tell you, folks ain't like they used to be, especially ninjas. Used to be when a ninja cries, he whoops and groans and hollers, and his whole body rocks, and that they were way done sometimes at the sales. Speaking about paints, I seen a whole lot of things, but the worst that ever happened was about 20 years ago when Hound's hand hit me on the side of the head. I bet that hand weighed 100 pounds and it was cold as ice. I ain't I ain't been so I ain't been able to work for 7 days and nights. I still can't turn my head oh my god, further to the left as you see. I reckon about the funniest thing about our plantation was the marrying. A couple got married by saying that they was, but it couldn't last for longer than 5 years. That was so if one of them got too weakly to have children's, the other would go get him another wife or husband. I remembers the day. I remembers the day mighty well when the Yankees came. Master Dick, he walked the floor and cussed Sherman for taking all his ninjas away. All the ninjas left, of course, and me, I walked clean to Raleigh to find out if I was really free, and I couldn't understand half of it. Well, the first year I slept on in folks' wood houses and barns and in the woods or anywhere else I could find. I worked harder and harder, but folks just give me something to eat and my clothes was in strings for the spring of that year. You asks me what I thinks of Master Lincoln? Well, I thinks that he was doing the worst thing that he could do to them fool ninjas, to let them fool ninjas loose when they ain't got nowhere to go, nothing to eat. Who helped us out then? It wasn't the Yankees, it was the white folks, what was left of their crops in the fields and what wasn't robbed by the Yankees to boot. My old master, for instance, was robbed of his fine horses and his foodstuffs and all them kegs and liquor what we all done to himself, sides his money and silver. Slavery was a good thing then, but the world just got better and outgrowed it. Wow. Uh, wow. That's hard to read and a lot to unpack, but it is what it is. And finally, this is Jay-Z's family tree. Billionaire from Henry Bobbitt right here said that they were whooped for not being allowed to write or even look like they want to write to one of the greatest writers of all time. As a matter of fact, he does not even write. He just freestyles his excellent music. I hope you like this video. Like, follow, subscribe. Pa'lante.